Well, hello there everyone. I know it's been quite a while since the last post. Again, my apologies. So things have been okay over here. I have had no internet for a very, very long time, and a lot of the time between last post and this post was spent just going round shops, asking questions, trying to get everything sorted for my abode. And it's sorted now, pretty much. I don't think there are any other bits or pieces that I need to add to my home. It's now very technological. I've got a great little smartphone here. It's actually not very little at all, it's actually quite big. But that does everything and goes everywhere with me, and it makes sounds, look. And my students are currently writing to me because they don't think that spending 9 hours a day with me is enough, apparently. I don't know if they'll ever watch this. They're wonderful, genuinely. They're brilliant. So I haven't had internet until recently, and I couldn't really be asked to be running videos between home and work, considering that I knew I would be able to do so from home fairly soon. It's also given me the chance to actually catch up on work, because there are various fairly tedious tasks that we need to perform, which I won't bore you with. Anyway, so what's been going on recently, aside from all the various tedious tasks of running around? Well, let's see. Henny came to stay. Henny is a friend of mine who I met her in London, and she's a very eccentric, artistic type from Busan, and I'd been hoping that at some point we'd be running into each other in South Korea, but she's got various things going on at her university. She's got artwork to create and exhibit, and funnily enough, the artwork that she's doing now is all based on pinhole cameras, because I sent her a pinhole camera set for her birthday, and she decided to turn it into a big project. So I suppose that seems to have gone down okay. And so she came to stay here, and we went to a modern art gallery, which was bizarre. There was, amongst other things, a broken spade and a box of plastic sort of fake beauty products. That was a bit weird. There was a tree with a blanket on it, but some of it was really cool as well. It was a mix of stuff that I thought was a bit too far-fetched, and a few bits and pieces that were actually quite cool. So anyway, but the matey boy, I think he's dead now. They were exhibiting some guy, a Korean artist, who was going through his big creative heyday back in the 60s, and I think he took quite a lot of drugs. I think you could tell it from his paintings. I think it's fair to say he took quite a lot of drugs. I'm sure the government weren't aware, but I'm aware. I think he was on drugs. Anyway, so Henny and I went to this art exhibition, and we had a good time exploring the local area. Funnily enough, she saw the giant statue outside the British Council, which is the place that I've been kind of scouting around recently, because I'd like to work there at some point in the future. She came back over to my neck of the woods in Gangnam, and we explored around here for a while. We went for coffee and, you know, exchanged pleasantries. Yeah, oh yeah, and well, she stayed the night and went very early the next morning. Actually, we were supposed to be catching up for lunch, but whilst I was at work, she got a call from her brother. Something or other, something wrong with the train times. They'd had a misunderstanding. So anyway, she had to leave very, very suddenly, and didn't really get a chance to say goodbye. But the one thing that was rather wonderful, well, I came home and sort of boodled about and did my thing. I don't know exactly what I was doing that day. I think I went to the gym. Anyway, eventually, ages after Henny had left, I opened my fridge and noticed that there was a present in my fridge waiting for me, because that's what modern artists do. They put presents in your fridge. So I was very, very pleased to find a children's book. Another children's book. I've now got 3 children's books. 3 Korean children's books, none of which I'm actually good enough to read yet, but I'm getting there. One of them I kind of struggled through recently, the first few pages that is, so I'm getting better at figuring it out. Yeah, so that was great. I've now got 3. There's the one that Henny left me. There's the one that Henny sent me while I was in England, so she got me 2 of my children's books. And the other one came as a big surprise. I saw a couple of other very good friends of mine, Sue and Shin, who are people that I think I mentioned in a previous post, because I was in Hongdae, kind of messing around and trying to find various places that are interesting. Anyway, so I ran into these people, Sue and Shin. And Shin is very, very good at creating strange cocktails from 7-Eleven budget alcohol. So, well, it's a peculiar art, but it's a useful one at times. So we got very drunk last time we saw each other, and then when they came round a couple of weeks ago, we did pretty much the same thing. They came over to my place. We sat on the floor, because that's what a lot of Korean people do. They sit on the floor and drink. They're not big on chairs. They're kind of considered to be clutter. But then I get laughed at because when I sit on the floor, I look like a spider that's collapsed. I can't get my limbs in. It's too difficult. But anyway, I'm trying to adapt to sitting on the floor. Time will tell whether that is going to be of any use. But yeah, life is completely changed actually since technology has arrived. Interestingly enough, you can take your phone. It's got a strange sort of, it's like a bank card but not. It transmits some kind of radio signal which identifies it as completely unique. And that means you can set it up as a credit card. And you can also set it up as a what's called a T-money, which is what you use to travel around the subway and bus systems with. And you can also use it as a phone and a camera. So interestingly enough, a lot of people just carry their phones and a bank card to take out cash occasionally and nothing else, because for a lot of things you can pay with your phone. You just walk into a shop, you stick your phone down on the radio signal receiver thing, and it goes beep, and the items are yours. So you don't need to carry anything else around. I've even noticed a lot of people carrying wallets which are phone shaped. So you open your wallet and you've got your cash and your phone, and it's all kind of adapted around the phone. It's all very, very neat. You don't have to carry much around. I don't need keys. because my front door has a code, which I really need to change actually. Anyway, so yeah, phones, very useful things. What else has been going on? Last weekend, once again, the students decided it would be a good idea to take some of their teachers out and get them drunk. It's all kosher because it just so happens that most of them, it came as something as a surprise, most of them are older than me. I had no idea just how many of them were older than me, but yeah, it turns out that I'm something of a young'un amongst my students. You would never think it to look at them, because a lot of them are small of stature, and they're very jovial and light-hearted in a way that you wouldn't ordinarily associate with adults. I wouldn't go as far as saying they're childish. They're certainly childlike at times, which is fun. You know, they don't take themselves too seriously, and I've got no problem with that. That's great. It's certainly kind of the time flies very fast at school. When I'm teaching a lot, it's very easy to kind of, you know, just get through the day because they make everything very easy. The only stuff that's kind of possibly slightly stressful at times are the things that happen outside class time, because of course, you know, like any school, there's a kind of politics there, but they're great. And so they took us out on Friday last week to one of the local bars, and it's the same in a lot of places. You get like a fried chicken. Often it's fried up with kind of like a chili type stuff, and you get honey dips and things, and it's all very unhealthy but very, very tasty. And last weekend we did that, and also we had beer and soju, which is the local spirit. Well, the spirit they like drinking in this country is quite strong. It's nice. So we had a few drinks together at this chicken place, and then afterwards my plan was to go to Hongdae for the night because I like Hongdae and I meet strange people there, and some of the students, they said to me, you know, what are you up to now? Are you going home? Good night. I said, I'm not going to bed. Friday night, I'm going to Hongdae. I'm going to go and meet the freaks. And bless them, I didn't realise, because there's that slight kind of cultural difference between us. They thought, oh no, he's travelling to Hongdae and he's travelling alone. Perhaps he will be in danger, or simply lonely. Worse, lonely. So they said, well, we must come with you then. I said, no, it's alright, kids. Yeah. Kids are older than me, but don't look it. You can go home. You know, I'll be alright. I'm not shy at all. I'll mix in. I always feel very much at one with the freaks. So they weren't having any of it. They said, no, we can't let you go by yourself. But this is awful. You can't wander around the city at night alone. That's just dangerous. I said, well, A, it's not, and B, I won't be alone. There'll be loads of people around me. I'm going to a very public area. And they just said, no, it's too strange. Sorry, we've got to come with you. So I went to Hongdae with two of my students, with Juliana, who's pint size, and turns out is much older than me. She's I think she's 32 years old. And Joe, who's a very nice guy, ex-student from the school, who's must be a little bit younger than me. Quite quiet, but he was definitely very curious about what goes on of a night in Hongdae, I don't think he'd been out very much, bless him. So we went to Hongdae together, and we went to a cat bar. Cat bars are great. It's a very good idea, very simple. You have a bar, you have coffee, you have alcohol, cocktails, you name it, but very relaxed atmosphere, like a cafe, and lots of cats. And it was good, you know. We sat down together at this place, and we saw the cats. I'd been at this place the week previous, meeting up with Hannah, another friend of mine who I met in England. Very nice girl. I'll be seeing her again tomorrow night. And yeah, they plonk a kitten down in front of you while you're drinking your wine. And this kitten that I saw last Friday, he was mini, you know, just a few weeks old. His eyes hadn't fully developed, so they're kind of squinting at you, trying to figure out what you are, I suppose. Yeah, so it's quite funny having one of these little squinting, newly born kittens looking at you while you're having your wine. And people are very friendly towards them, and of course, you know, they get everything they need. Some of them really aren't sociable at all, and that's alright too. They're just part of the scenery. So anyway, yes, we went there and had some Irish coffee and other things, and then we went out, wandered around for a while, went to a few different clubs, met some very interesting people, met a very interesting Greek guy called Tassos, who we'll be seeing again tomorrow. We met a couple of French people. One was called Laure, or something similar, because I can't do French names, but I try. No, that was the boy, Laure, and his girlfriend was called Laurence. So we had Laure, Laurence, and Lawrence, which was quite amusing. So we were just wandering about for a while. We went to the playground again, another place that I mentioned in a previous post, and we had a great night together. It was great fun, and I kind of taught Joe and Juliana how to impose yourselves upon people, and you know, practice your English ultimately, as far as they were concerned, and they succeeded. And by the end of the night, they were doing really well, and they met up. They even introduced me to a couple of people that they'd accosted and befriended. A very interesting guy, actually, Alan, from Holland. Really interesting guy, and his partner in crime. What was his name? His name was Devon, and I think he was American. But anyway, they'd both been living in China. Not the greatest place in China. They weren't particularly fond of their home, as far as I know. I'm sure it has its plus points, but not the kind of place that you'd want to visit as a tourist. And it was kind of I think it was like a port city that people used to travel to Taiwan. And they were really nice guys, and Alan invited me over to stay in China, so I will. So I'm going to be going over there and seeing those guys at some point, because I fancy the idea of going to China and practicing my very, very limited Chinese, which amounts to asking people how their parents are, asking how they are, saying hello, and saying that I've lost my octopus. Where is it? I can say that in Chinese. So yes, anyway, so that was great. We had a good night, and the following day I had a relatively early night. I met up with Jeff, my next door neighbour. We went out for dinner, and I got up bright and early for the run club, which I've joined, which is every Sunday. And the run club is absolutely fantastic. I love it there. Well, it's something that I started probably, but I'm now co-organiser. After whatever it was, 3-4 runs, I've now become co-organiser of this Sunday event because well, I run a lot, and it seems that because I'm there every week, they just needed an extra person to lead these people around, and well, I've done a fair bit of that. And funnily enough, 2 of the students turned up last weekend as well. So one of them was Juliana, the little one. So that was fun. Met some new people. Went for lunch afterwards. Met an Australian entrepreneur who was a fascinating chap, who I think we'll probably be seeing again later on. Yeah, really nice guy. And let's see. Yes, and of course this weekend I shall try and get some footage. Genuinely, I will unscrew the camera and take it down there, because this is going to be worth filming. I believe we're going to a Halloween marathon on Saturday, which is for charity. It's quite expensive, but I'm still new enough in the country to justify being a bit lavish sometimes. So I have forked out for this run on Saturday. It's a 5-kilometre run, so quite tiny, but the good thing is that they give us costumes and face paints and other such things, so we'll all be done up in Halloween stuff for the event, which will be nice. So I'll be dressing up and running, and a few of my students will be there as well, and I've heard that quite a lot of people are going to be there. I'll probably be meeting a lot of runners, a lot of very strange runners. So that's right up my alley. I'm really looking forward to the event, and I think another one of my students, Charles, is coming along, and he ran a 10k with me on Sunday. So we were very chuffed with him because he hadn't run for 6 months. So yeah, Charles did well. Anyway, so I suppose that's it for now. I better check and see what the time is. Okay, yes, I do actually need to go. I need to be at work relatively soon. So anyway, again, sorry for not having posted in a while, but I'm hoping that these can be a little bit more regular now that I can do this from my room. So this is where it all gets sent from. And I hope you're all doing okay. I keep in touch with many of you over Facebook and emails and whatever. If, however, you're watching this video and haven't been in touch for a while, or if I haven't been in touch for a while, then send me a message. It's always nice to write emails.